Hi guys. Who's stressed? Me. Hi Sharon. Um, oh, new record. 22 likes before it even started. Thank you so much, guys. Do you hear me first? That's one first question. It's not the. I wanted to be seated out. I can't because it's crowded today. Voilà. I'm in a cafe in Ginza. I hope you can hear me with the music, and also the environment is pretty. I'm going to be close, stay close. Like super up, but Daijoubu, can you hear me, guys? That's good enough. I didn't expect it to be so crowded, but I think that because of the sakura, everybody is just out. Yes, Britta, this is where I had the pain perdu. Oh my god, guys, I'm really resisting because I'm super hungry, but I have a big dinner tonight at a posh restaurant, so I should go there. Arigatou gozaimasu. I'm thinking I should ask if I can change tables, but I will be a pain if I ask this. I think there is this French guy actually. I'm pretty sure he would let me change places, but aussi on kana. Bon, but I ordered my drink already on time, Jennifer. This is a mango nectar. Itadakimasu. I'm resisting food even if, as I said, I'm super hungry because, oh my god, check this out. This French toast looks so good. And I also have the seasonal French toast is like plain with nothing. And oh my god, I would love to have it because it's brioche French toast, guys. Bonjour Thomas, Kabiles, voilà. Yes, Julien is here. Rita, we've been talking because I arrived 15 minutes in advance, so. And I got like an email. I'm sorry guys, I need a few, 1 or 2 minutes to settle down because I got a message from work and it was a little bit of some problems, so I had to, But thank you for waiting. Also, oh my god, I need to apologize. I'm so sorry because I know, hi Jessica, I know that some of you waited for me yesterday because I made a mistake. I thought I had, put the date, today's date, and I got the time right. But yeah, so sorry about that difference. Hi Sharon. But I didn't change the day, just the hour. And luckily, at something like 4:30, I think I got a message from Dosh, and it's like, "Hi Jennifer, how are you? Everybody's worried about you." And I'm like, "What? Did I do? Why are people worried? Who's worried about me and why? And I thought, did I say something during my life yesterday? That make people think I'm not good. And he was like, well, we've been waiting for you to live stream for half an hour. And I'm like, oh my god, no, this is not possible. Big mistake. So I'm so sorry about that. This happens sometimes. I'm sorry you had to wait. But here I am. So today's theme is how living in Japan has changed my life. Alors oui, on a du français là, merci, oui. J'ai pas encore fait le sakura, la mer des dragons. Alors, you had the chat, yeah, that's good. I think I should ask Julien, see he is... I should ask him if I can change. Yeah, well, he's busy. ちょっとかわいそうね、今それ聞いたら。You can hear me good enough? 大丈夫？大丈夫ですか？ That's good. Okay. So, I started briefly talking about this 2 days ago, and I've been wanting to do this live stream. Perfect, if you can hear me well. And I've been wanting to do this live stream for months now, because more topics about my life in Japan, because I get so many questions, and also I got comments that made me realize that this is what interests you too, guys, right? Not only me eating and doing the Ogui Battle. What is Ogui Battle? The big eaters contest, right? So here we are. I know this is not a seasonal thing, maybe because everybody is doing the sakura, I assume. Guys, I am having you do, we are doing the sakura, I am the sakura, voila, sakura scarf, seasonal stuff. And yesterday, it was nice, just going around and trying to find a bar around Tokyo Station. Next time I'll go to another area, I think. I mean, if I'm there. But this is something that I can do to, when, hey JK, when I'm somewhere and I don't finish too late and I'm not too tired, I can take you to have a drink with me, right? So I have to start. We have an hour, guys, because I have Ramses at 5:10. Please tell me it's time. Well, I'll see when it's an hour at 5 that I will have only 10 minutes to go. But aloha. Oh my God, I've seen there is a place, a restaurant, an aloha restaurant where I want to go again, where I've been before. In Harajuku. I have to take you there some days, guys. It's so good. Anyways, how did living in Japan change my life? Well, first, because we have also newcomers to the channel, which makes me happy, because the things are changing a little bit and moving, which is a good thing, I think, right? But some of you know that I didn't come to Japan because I was in love with the country and attracted by Japan. I wasn't a big fan of, I don't know, manga or cosplay or geisha, samurai, ninja, whatever, I studied Japanese because I wanted to do to work using foreign languages, and I knew that just doing English and Spanish wouldn't take me very far. I wouldn't be able to make the difference with the others, because there are so many people who study this. So I chose, when I was at the university, before joining the university, I had to pick a rare language, and I chose Japanese because at the time it was so the exchanges, the economic exchanges, and the goods exchanges between France and Japan were that was huge. And also there weren't many translators in Japanese at the time, and it was said that people who do translation who could do translation in Japanese, for a day of work they would get a month's salary, because they were really highly paid. So to me, learning Japanese was a strategical choice. And I was supposed to come for just 1 year, which to me was like a pain. I didn't want to come. But I was serious at studying and getting good at trying to get as good as I could with my level in this language. So I thought, okay, it's a pain. I don't want to go. I don't want to leave France for a year, but I'm going, because I want to improve my level in Japanese. And I arrived in this country. I think also that the fact that I wasn't in Tokyo helped, because life in Tokyo is pretty crazy. It can be tiring, especially for someone like me who likes the countryside and who my home in France, it's not in Bordeaux center. I'm in between Bordeaux and Saint-Emilion, and in a small village, So I have access to the big town, but I had like a cool countryside. I wasn't living in a farm, but it was just like tranquille, la vie tranquille, quoi. Voilà, a peaceful, environment. And I arrived in Japan, and within 3 days, I knew that I would stay more than a week. Something happened. I hadn't fallen in love with Japan yet, but I think and in that sense, Japan changed me because I felt more at peace living here, and I think it's just because the environment is so different, the people are so different, but also when you're in this, out, going to stores, walking in the streets, people are just so much more peaceful than in France, I think. So I think that this is something that I needed to get more appeased to say that, I think. And I think that one of the things why has living in Japan changed me, it's because living in Japan has taught me so many things. And one of the things is first that it taught me how to live in harmony with my environment, but not the things, but the people, because we live in a society, right? And I think that in France, and not only in France, in most Western countries, I think that it's the individual before the group, but in Japan it's the group before the individual. So the social rules are completely different, and they're really being, careful about not being aggressive and not bothering people around them. And I think that you can sense that. I told you about the way Japanese people move, and this is why I could recognize them when I am in Asia, because they move differently from other Asian people. They're really very unique, the Japanese people. And I think that contributed to appeasing me, because sometimes I think that in Western countries you can feel some aggressivity around you and you become aggressive too. And I was more tense when I was in France. When I go back now, I've been living here for 22 years, so now it's in me really, being more peaceful and, living in harmony with my surroundings. But when I'm in France, I'm different, because I'm not as I was 22 years ago, 25 years ago. I think I was more aggressive, because people, they don't even realize they are aggressive in France, the way they talk, the way they move sometimes. But when I'm in France, I don't talk the same way. Even when I'm in Japan and I talk French, I become French, I think. And when I speak English, I'm also different. But when I speak English, I'm more French than Japanese, I think. When I speak Japanese, I become Japanese. Many people have told me that. And I think that the language, when you speak a language, there is a culture behind the language, so you become that culture, right? And so now, even in Japan, when I speak French and when I go back to France, my Japanese friends who have never seen me there, even if they've seen me speaking French on the phone in Japan, when they see me in France, they're like, oh my God, you're French, you're different, you know? And yes, of course I am. But I'm not as French as I used to be, I think, because my French friends tell me that I'm a little bit of a Japanese now. This is good. But that's one of the things that Japan has taught me. So that changed my life for the better, I think, because if I had stayed in France, I think that stress and being so, stressed all the time because of the aggressivity and being aggressive too, that spoils your life, I think, and it's really latent, I think, in France, this sometimes a little bit tense atmosphere, and to me it was a bit hard, I think, to live that. Voilà. I mean, you don't want you don't want to go to the supermarket before Christmas because it's like people almost hit each other because it's so crowded. They would fight for a piece of meat, but this is kind of crazy. It's unimaginable in Japan, right? So that's something that is good about living here, and that has had a good influence, I think, on me. Voilà. Another thing I think that I mentioned before is that what I learned, and I think was really important to me, it changed me in a good way, I think, is that I learned not to take everything for granted. I think that vous êtes français, française? I can see perfect French here. In France, I think that we take everything for granted, and sometimes people are not very grateful. And here, when you come to Japan, you realize that you shouldn't take things for granted, because you never know what might happen, in a second. That's what I was talking about 2 days ago, about the earthquakes, for example. You can lose everything like that, but also, they are very grateful for what they get all the time. And it's a completely different way of seeing life, I think. I think that in France, people, it's always, I don't have enough, I want more. It's never enough. And so people are never happy. And it's always, the grass is always greener in the neighbor's garden. You know what I mean? We say that in France, but I think it's true. That's the French mentality. The terrace is so free now. But I'm not going to change now, guys. The timing was bad. Should have come after for next time. So a little at a time, I started becoming like this, realizing that you have to be thankful for what life gives you. No contentment, yes, that's a way of saying that. We must appreciate every moment, yes, but also, it's also, how you see the glass, well, it's full now, but you see it's half empty or half full. The way you see things can make your life so completely different, right? And in France, we tend to see the glass half empty, not half full. And it's just never enough. This is why even now, all those problems which I'm not going to talk about what's going on in France right now, with the gilets jaunes, the yellow jackets. But I think it's really, I know there are many problems, but then, when they are offered some improvement, it's never enough. And in Japan, when I came to Japan, I realized how lucky we were in France with all the help we get. People who don't have that much money, actually they do get a lot of help. In Japan, you get nothing. That's what people should understand. I mean, I was telling that, yes, you're right, Kyle, it's not only just in France. But I was thinking I shouldn't talk for the whole Western countries, because I'm French, and then I can avoid. I've never got a comment like saying, hey, you're French. What do you know about America, for example, But I'm just going to talk as a French, right? Yes, Gamer Junk says, yes, Ferdia, to have a Japanese tell what she thinks or wants is really difficult. Yes, but I think this is another subject, if you don't mind. That's another aspect of the culture. But here, Hainosh, they really live in harmony, but I think it's not only in Japan. Actually, when you come to Asia, in many countries in Asia, I think that people live more in harmony, because it's the group before the individual. And our problem, I think, in France, you have, of course, to put yourself at the front as an individual. It's good. You have to have a good balance. And in that sense, I'm happy that I'm French, because I wouldn't want to be Japanese. That's another thing, guys. And I'm lucky because I'm between two cultures and I'm between the two countries. So I can make a choice of what I intake of the culture and what I don't want. And indeed, just there are many codes in the Japanese culture that make people have a lot of frustration, I think. But that's another subject, guys. Okay, that I can talk about about the time. That would be more like how do I see, the Japanese culture, etc. Today, the subject is how did living in Japan change my life. So they taught me that, to be just grateful, which I think is very important. Because now I wake up every morning and it's not. I see your comments and I can't think here properly. What was I saying? Yeah, I wake up every morning and I don't feel dissatisfied. I feel like, okay, you know what? I'm in good health. I think that health is the first thing. My family, everybody, the people I love are in good health. I have a roof on my head. I have good food every day. I mean, I'm happy. I'm a happy person. Then the sun is shining today. Babies, etc., etc. I get happy now thanks to simple things in life. But I think it's hard for many people. They don't see that because in France, I think one of the national sports, as I say, is complaining. When I came to Japan, guys, I was complaining all the time. And sometimes now, when I complain on purpose, not on purpose, but I don't like when people they sneeze, because do you know that, guys? When people sneeze, they blow all their germs 13 meters away. Did you know that? So, sometimes on purpose I complain and I say, hey, I'm French, it's normal that I complain because, French people, this is what they do, they complain all the time. It's a characteristic, I think. Not every French, of course, and not maybe all the time, but we complain a lot. That's it's okay. She's pretty, so I forgive her. And they are having wine, so voila. So that's another thing that I'm grateful for. Ah voilà, aoshi. It's good I took a mango juice because it's filling me up a little bit. It gives me the feeling I'm eating a fruit. So voilà, voilà. Hold your breath. Yeah, I have. I wish I could wear. I should be wearing one of those masks. You know, I always have my masks. Voila. Is there any other country do you think where people complain a lot? Huh? Yeah. I thought no, but I'm not going to wear it. But oh my God, the hay fever, it's still so bad. Like 3 days ago I couldn't sleep properly because of the hay fever. Voila. Another thing that really Germany and Italy, I think they complain. You know, when I went to Germany, I just crossed, I don't remember what airport, but even Japanese people, they say that they think that German people are very close to their culture. I don't know if like the way of thinking is the same, but when it comes to tidiness and cleanness, do you say that? Oh my God, it was like everything is pretty square, I think. And then, I mean, French, we're not that square. Then you have the Spanish who aren't that square neither, and then the Italians, even as the French, sorry about that, as if there are some Italians, but we have the feeling they are even more like not square, you know. Alors Britta and Heiko say they are German, that it's dirty. You think so? I have never been into a city, but voilà. Alors, another. I have this time I decided to try that I had an hour and I would try to go through the talk. Typical French. You complain a lot. Yeah, that's. I think that's. Isn't it a characteristic of our culture to complain and to be on strike? Don't you think? I think you know, Britta. Of course, you're not. Yours. Everybody, I think, is surprised when people come to Japan because it's so clean. And even me, each time I come back to Japan, I always say, you know, you could fry an egg on the toilets. Because it's so clean, right? Huh? Yes, we have the image of Germany being pretty clear. Now, who wants to know what I learned also living in Japan? We can change subjects, no, guys? But in Paris, they have. I think there is a new rule that if you don't pick up your dog's poop, you can get a fine, because you know it's like tourists. We have to look at our feet and we can't enjoy the monuments because we think we might walk into some poop, right? But I think that they've been trying these last 2-3 years because they got so many bad comments. And tourism is really important for the economy of a country, right? So they are trying to improve that. Also, the attitude of the taxi drivers, I heard, like they had to be more like kinder, right? Escargot, frog legs and sashimi. The city has gotten that bad. Okay, guys. No, alors attends, Deep Purple, the dog poop. Seriously, guys, I always carry. Okay, not here, not in my purse, but I remember 2-3 years ago with my father, we were. You know, I brought back a rescue there. My father is taking care. Lily Cham. Lily. He's taking care of her, and she pooped, and I wanted to pick it up, which I did, but he was like, "Ah, leave it. It's okay. You don't care." And I'm like, "Hey, this is a civic duty to. I mean, we live in a society, and maybe some kids will come in that work, and So, but it's not in the culture." Voila. I flounched a new subject, the clean. Is it clean or not? Do people bring back their dog's poop? Bon. Alors, back to the subject. Another thing that living in Japan has taught me, I think that's really one of the first things that I learned, and it was maybe the first year the hardest thing to learn being here. It was patience, guys. Patience is the key. That's what I learned. Especially if you want to live in Japan, or if you want to have business with Japanese people. Patience is the key. If you can't be patient, you will not be happy in Japan, and you won't. I don't think you'll be able to have a good business in Japan, because they will get the better of you guys if you can't be patient. I think that patience is the key to gain Japanese people's trust in the business in Japan. And you're still talking about poop, guys. And then, yes, difference. Takes time to establish business relationship in Japan if you're a foreigner. Especially if you're a foreigner, yes, but also for Japanese people. This is why they have to be patient, and patience is the key, because that's how it works here, to gain their trust. There is no, that's the main secret, I think. And then it's in everything. I think you just have to be patient and give people the time they need, because if you want to hurry things, they will feel attacked. And I think that in France, what we don't like is something that was really the opposite, and that was a little bit hard in Japan, is that it's a country of paradoxes. Hey, 400 blows. Thank you so much. Did you get my message? Thank you. You know how, for example, they say, okay, Japanese people, they don't touch each other, they don't do akushu. So like when I'm like, mwah, mwah, bonjour, and give the kisses on the cheek there, it's like not that much now, or maybe it's because I work with people who are in the wine business and they've been abroad, and but they would get all excited, when if you give four kisses on the cheeks to Japanese men, they would get all excited. 22 years ago. Maybe this is because I was younger, I don't know. Voilà. But it's changing now. They are starting to do the handshake, but it's not the rule, right? Not yet. And the paradox is that when you get the train and you can be in such packed trains, you wonder how they almost never have physical contacts on the outside, of course, because inside the houses, guys, that's another life, that's another subject. But don't think of Japanese people not liking the human touch, right? But that's how you conduct yourselves on the outside. And honestly, guys, I've been living here for so long, and this is what I've been taught. Yes, no, I was in Nagano, that was too bad. hope we can meet next time. Seriously, guys, you know, Japan is changing a little bit. I'm living in Japan now. I was living in France. I'm French and I was living in France. And I've been living in Japan for 22 years. Attends, non, juste attaqué. C'est un reminder. What was I talking about? Shoot. Ah oui, voilà. You know, they start the young people now, and also I think the Hollywood movies influence, and you know, we get all that Western movies influence. Ah voilà. I feel like a princess with those fluffy cushions. Yeah, you know what difference? I was thinking that when I make the notifications, because there are more people coming and more people following me, I might stop putting the place where I'm going to live stream, because I thought, like, when I did the bingsu thing, I thought, oh my god, if someone, because I put the hour right, not that I would really mind, but I'm not sure. It might be a good surprise, but maybe not. So yes, voila, Ramses. I was going to talk about the kissing in public. So with the movies, in the movies influence. Yes, Brian, you're absolutely right. Now you can see some young people, like, it's not the kisses like in France. Oh my god, you're like, now I'm like, I've become so Japanese in that way. You feel like, okay, hey, get a room, you know. When I was doing exactly the same thing 22 years ago, you know what I mean? But then you live here and you're like, it's a big no-no. Hey, Shogun. But now, you can see the young people, they, you know, just like, we thought, you know, they don't use the tongue, voilà. Let's be direct. But it's like, it's shocking, because, and especially when there are, you know, elder people around, they don't, it's not in the culture. So you like, it's kind of awkward attempts to do kisses in public. And seriously, I think this doesn't, it doesn't fit the Japanese culture. Voila. But I think that probably in 5 years, because Japan changes so quickly, we'll talk about this if I'm still live streaming in 5 years. Maybe I will give you another version. I will show you people kissing in the street, right? Alors, holding hands, oui, that's okay. Huh? I don't know what PDA is. Ouch. Voilà. Alors, what else? Ah oui, public display of affection. Yes. You know, when I came to Japan, I had a friend who he'd been living here for such a long time, and he was telling me that even for a mother, it wasn't proper to kiss her child in public. And he was like, this is crazy. Can you imagine the frustration those people have daily? Because, and it's from the start, right? Because even a monkey's mother, she has to kiss her baby, right? And I thought that was, you know, when he said that, everybody laughed, but I thought, oh my god, this is actually a pretty good example, because we're animals too, right? And why would you prevent yourself from kissing your child, right? Now it's changing, especially with the fact that we need children. So now that's another subject, but they are princes and princesses, the kids now, which is also becoming a little bit of a problem because the parents, they let them do anything they want, so there is a little bit of a problem with the education and different dark corners, right? But I mean, in the train now, sometimes you see the kids, they would never have acted like that 10 years ago, and I mean, the parents would have told me to be quiet, or you know, but now it's just getting a little bit it's westernized, huh? What do you think of the infrastructure and technology in comparison to France? I think it's a higher level. The infrastructure, without any doubt. Technology might be same, or it might be a little bit higher, not sure about that. The infrastructure, I think, is really better. Alors, Kiki-chan, Ohio. I should have Charlie and Lisa with me. But you know, for example, there is a paradox, it's that you can't use credit cards. Some credit cards you can't use in Japan. It's like this is the consumption country. This is the country where you can do shopping everywhere, and there are so many places where you can't use this card or that card. Also, sometimes it's difficult to withdraw cash. So that's a little bit of a paradox, I think. Voilà. Alors, it's 4:40, I think, as I started on time. At 4 today. Alors, in Japan, when you come to Japan, yes, guys, you have to... Thank you so much, Kiki. Merci beaucoup. The mango nectar. Merci beaucoup. I will buy some sashimi for the kitties. Merci. Yes, you have. Alors, in France, you know, when I see people, sometimes people, they use their credit cards for $3, and now I got used to it. But like 10 years ago, I would be like, "You're using your card for $5," and that was shocking me, because I mean, before, when I was living in France, it had to be a minimum of amount, like for example $20. So to start using your credit card, we would never use our credit cards for such small amounts. But now the problem is with, you know, all the problems of people, like stealing handbags, and like people, they don't carry cash anymore in France because of the safety issue. Huh? We are like, this is, someday I will do an open chat. Is that even English? Open chat live stream. The theme today is what changed my life coming to Japan, right? So, what did I miss? Arigatou gozaimasu. Arigatou gozaimasu. Gratitude. Patience. Not taking everything for granted. Living in harmony with others. There is another one. Can you guess, guys? For example, when we take the train, there is something we have to do. I mean, French people, when they take the train, and Japanese people, when they take the train, like when we queue in France. Patience, we said that, Shogun. It starts with a D. 400 blows. Okay, this is not the subject, but we went to Paris last year. The center of Paris wasn't Paris that you used to know. You feel sorry for French people. I feel sorry for French people too, because it's changed a lot, and recently I don't feel so proud of being French. Coming to Japan has taught me to love my country. And I think it's linked to the fact that when you take everything for granted, you don't realize what you have. And being away from my country, I realized how, like, to have my family, to have my friends, and my country was a beautiful country. And I think we have a beautiful culture and spirit. But sometimes there are things, of course, but it's like in every country, as I said, France is not perfect. But I love my country now. But sometimes I'm like, oh my God, what's going on right now? It's just too bad. But anyways, the D word. Attends, I saw decency. Yes, respect for others. Giving space. Yes, respect. Yes, I think that respect depends on how your parents educate you, and my parents taught me to respect my elders, to respect people, to say hey, good morning, to say thank you, that's the base, right? So I was a pretty respectful person, I think, from the beginning, but in Japan, yes, they are even more respectful than us, I think. They might be. The D world was discipline. Oh my God! Japan taught me discipline because you have to be disciplined when you live in a country such as Japan, especially when you live in the big cities like Osaka, Tokyo. Because without discipline, it would be the end of this country, I think. You can't do otherwise because it's so many of us. I don't remember the density of people in Tokyo, but it's just so crazy. And this is how I think that's also a very important part of the culture, because they had to adapt their way of thinking to the environment too, right? And when you don't have such big space to live, you have to learn to respect others and to be disciplined, because if not, you can't survive in the society, even in the family. Now we have, okay, people are not living together anymore, but you remember, you know that before, when you had 2-3 generations under the same roof, they had to have, those rules and be disciplined, because if not, people would kill each other, I think, right? I know Japanese Japanese households announce themselves when they come home. Do you do this when you get home? Maybe it's not just the babies, no, just kidding. Yes, I do. Okay, even if it's only the babies who hear. So you mean the tadaima? Yes, I do the tadaima. And you know what? Even when the house is empty, I do tadaima. Like everywhere I go, and now I talk to houses and I talk to objects. Oh my God, you're going to think I'm really crazy. I am, actually, guys. I am really crazy. That's another thing. Thank you so much. That was a good question because. のここ違うと思います。あ、こんにちは。前ライブ配信して Say hello. Remember our friend? Hi there. Bonjour. ありがとうございます。大丈夫です。I know that some of you wanted to see him. I will not spill the beans, but I know that one of our friends will be happy to see him. So yes, I say tadaima even when I go sometimes when I go back to France to my home. I get there and I say tadaima in tadaima. I phrase it, you know. And I talk also to object. I think this is really, I'm very Japanese, huh? In a way, I'm more Japanese than I thought I was. Alors tadaima means right now, I think, maybe literal translation, meaning, hey, I'm home, So I also talk, to objects because of I think that probably comes from the Shintoism, because you know that a rock, a tree, animals, but maybe what in our culture, like a rock is not a living thing in Western culture, I think, but it can be a deity in Shintoism. And I think this is why sometimes, I think I had we say in French, un déclic. Ah voilà, ben exactement. Voilà, difference. That's what you were writing. One day, I was at a friend's house and she made something like a gratin, something like that. And I said, oh my god, this is so good, did you make it yourself? And she said, yes, with the help of Obun-san, with the help of Mr. Oven. Like San, that's what you put after a person's name. Like Nosh-san, Ramses-san, Britta-san, Jennifer-san. Yeah? And I was like, oh, so your oven is a person. And it was just like, I realized, but yes, and it's all connected, also this, because she was thankful to her oven, and I can understand that, and I've really, I think, soaked in this culture, and I'm more now respectful of the objects, because I think there is something, maybe that they have a soul, but there is something. Even if, like, books, I think that books have a soul, because they go through so many hands that I can never throw away a book. And I told someone one day, why? And she was like, why? And I said, because I think they have a soul. And voila, this is just how I say, yeah. So, we have different ways of expressing things. Energy might be the word. Thank you, Thomas. But there is something, if you want to see it, I think that there is this energy, so there is a soul. But when I say, objects, Thomas, your hats, they have a soul because you put your heart in making those objects. So maybe you think to you it's energy, but yeah, to me it's like they have a soul, because the soul of their maker goes through the object and they touch me, right? But yes, the tadaima is my neighbors, they love the babies, so it's okay, but sometimes you're like tadaima, and the babies, they come, gumen. Yeah, and I think that's something. I mean, if I do that, because sometimes I talk in Japanese, even in France, because some words. This is why to the babies. Sometimes I talk to them. I never talk to them in English. I talk to them in Japanese mainly, then French. Never in English, because I think that Japanese and French are the languages that I use most. My English used to be better than my Japanese, but now I think it's the contrary. And so sometimes, I say things in Japanese, and they probably think, but they don't know I'm talking to objects, or it's probably a good thing. It's good they never watch my channel, so they're going to get really worried, you know. I think I got a question. So, you know, that was a very interesting question, Anosh, because I hadn't thought about talking about that, but yes, indeed. Um, I saw a question, I think, at the beginning, like, do I miss France or my family? Uh, yes, of course, I miss both. It comes in waves. But I see my family regularly, and also, you know, I think that when you leave your family, you get more conscious. I don't know if it's because it's Japan, or it's just because, you know, if I had been in England or wherever in the world, I would have realized how important family is, and that you have to, those moments that we can spend together are really precious, and that you have, every second counts, and you have to make the most of those moments you can spend together. Huh? Um, my family doesn't watch my live streams. It's like, seriously, guys, 3 days ago my father sends me a message. I have sent him some no, it was after the when I did the ninja shooting for the NHK Mir, and I sent him some pictures saying, hey, this is for a shooting for the NHK, and he was like, oh, wow, great, you're going to be on TV. And I thought, are you for real? Like, you know, huh? Really? You know, I've been on TV for more than 10 years, you know what I mean? I was like, are you serious? You know, but then I thought, it's okay. I'm so used to that. You know, I think that once I was in a French program, they had, they talked about French people, 3 persons living in Japan. I was one of the 3 people. There is this video on my channel. I will put the link in the community, so that if you want just to have a glimpse. And my father, when he saw the program, first I told him, Dad, don't think that what you see on screen, this is my life and it's easy every day, and that the only thing I do is TV shootings, going to 3-star restaurants, and, you know, having the high life in Tokyo. I'm working hard and it's not easy every day, you know. But, you know, they just pick what they want when they make a program. And I think that in my case, they just showed like a super successful Jennifer. They didn't show the behind the scenes. And even now, you know, 2 days ago, we were talking about, like I said, for the first time, you know, it's not easy every day, even if I haven't never said that, because I assume that you know that. But I'm not, I mean, what would be the point of, you know, putting on Instagram, hey, I'm having a crappy day today, you know, or like, I don't know, but I don't see the point. And when I'm having a crappy day, I don't tell anyone, and, you know, this is why I'm not on Instagram, or, you know, or sometimes it's just busy, I guess, but it happens to everyone. And also, my job, guys, I work super hard. I mean, I almost never have a holiday. Even when I'm in France, I have to work. As long as I have a computer or my iPhone, I have to follow emails. Just before starting this live stream, I was checking out my emails and I had a problem with work, and I was like, you know. But it looks, this is not something I can show. I mean, what would be the point of showing, okay, you know, guys, I'm home and I'm working on the computer, or like, okay, I'm going to the office, I can't shoot there, or, you know. I will show you more of Daily Tokyo. I told you that, I've started, but it can't be like this. I mean, who wants to see me in my pajamas or like working at home on the computer, and, you know. I mean, there is a limit to what I can show, right? But, I mean, I work hours and hours, you know, and people, they don't realize that. that my mind is never on holiday, and this is why sometimes I get sick because I overdo it, right? So it's not, a princess life all the time. Hein? Alors oui, Ramsès, merci beaucoup. We can finish this drink. Voilà. So, もう行きます。ありがとうございます。完璧。Also, I remember, yeah, it was until 5 that I had the room. Guys, I'm going to leave you. No need to take you out. Thank you so much for joining me. I think I talked about the main things that I learned coming to Japan. Why living in Japan has changed my life, it's because it taught me so much, right? I enjoyed having you. Merci beaucoup. Thank you, Kiki-chan, for the tip-in. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to the newcomers on Patreon. I was so happy. And merci, guys. JK. I knew that you would like this live stream. I will do more. I think that from probably next week will be, the Sakura live streams for me. This week it's too early. I've said that 10 times already, but voilà. Merci beaucoup. Love you guys. And I see you very soon, okay? I will keep you posted, okay? Voilà. Merci beaucoup, guys. Stay tuned for pictures or videos of a gorgeous dinner tonight. Voilà. À bientôt.